This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Monday, the 27th of May, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. A lack of proper parenting cited by Commissioner of Police Earl Harewood Christopher as one of the root causes of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Commissioner Christopher is asking parents not to have unrealistic expectations that the police can solve their problems. She made the comment while speaking at the T&T National Council of Parent Teachers Association, a media convention celebrating 64 years, held at the Hampden Multipurpose Facility in Lowlands, Tobago over the weekend. Commissioner Christopher said breakdowns of the home, church, community, and school systems have led to unrealistic reliance on the TT Police Service to solve society's problems. Police from various operational and intelligence units have been briefed after threats were made against police officers and a deputy commissioner of prisons. A voice note circulated on WhatsApp between Friday and Saturday included threats to police officers from members of the resistance gangs. They were made after 4 men suspected of involvement in the kidnapping of Doubles vendor Anisha Hussain Singh were killed by police in Upper St. Michael's Road off St. Augustine on Thursday. Intelligence sources confirmed that a meeting was held on Saturday to discuss the threat and the influence of the resistance gang. They said there was no credible information to suggest the threats would develop into attacks on police, but officers were still advised to be on the alert as patrols and exercises in and around St. Augustine and Tunapuna will be increased. There have been situations in the past where criminals have made very serious, credible threats to the lives of officers. When it came to their attention, officers of the cybercrime and social media units are trying to trace the origin of the threat. It is not known if the threat also originated from the resistance gang. Former Attorney General John Jeremy, who was shortlisted to be appointed an appeal court's justice by Judicial and Legal Services Commission, has withdrawn from consideration for the prestigious position. Jeremy served as Attorney General under the Patrick Manning administration between 2003 and 2007, and again between 2009 and 2010. He's a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Law UWI St. Augustine campus. The move by the JLSC to fill vacancies in the Court of Appeal, which now comprises Chief Justice Ivor Archie and 11 other judges, comes after 3 appeal court judges opted for early retirement. 2 others have applied to serve on Caribbean courts, and 2 others are scheduled to retire next year. St. Augustine Member of Parliament Khadija Amin is calling for the government to help curb school violence by installing metal detectors at high-risk schools. MP Amin is also appealing for providing pupils with mentorship and social welfare counseling. She made the suggestions while speaking at the UNC's media briefing this past Sunday. She said the current explosion of school violence reflected violence in the wider society. Concerns were also raised about school dropouts and the shortage of school social workers in the education system. Makila Pandey launched a campaign for the 2025 general election, saying that her political party, the Patriotic Front, will contest all 41 seats in the election. She says nomination will be open today, May 27th, commemorating what would have been her father's 91st birthday and the 5th anniversary of the launch of her party, the Patriotic Front. She also commissioned her party's office at Twin Wall on Saturday. Pandey addressed a capacity hall, opened the doors for persons to serve, saying, "We seek candidates who will listen to the people, who will be the true voice of their constituents in the halls of power. If you believe in our values and are passionate about serving your constituency, we encourage you to step forward." She said the time is right now, and the people have been calling for it, and she does not believe politicians and political parties must hoist themselves on the people. People must call, and they're calling. The funeral for the late former St. Augustine Girls High School principal, Dr. Anita Haynes, will take place tomorrow, Tuesday, 10 a.m. at the Amaralaya Presbyterian Church in Tunapuna. The commission will follow at Belgrade's funeral home in Tacarigua. There'll be a wake service at St. Augustine Girls High School on the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway today at 3 p.m. in memory of Mahase. Mahase died early on Friday at Medical Associates in St. Joseph. She was 91 years old. The West Indies skipper Brandon Can is pleased with the momentum the team has been making and said the regional team performed consistently during their 3-0 series win over South Africa and had momentum going into the T20 World Cup. The West Indies defeated South Africa by 8 wickets to complete a 3-0 series sweep on Sunday. Media reports now say Trinidadian-born American rapper Nicki Minaj is released from police custody in the Netherlands on Sunday, hours after she was arrested at the Schiphol airport. Minaj had been traveling from Amsterdam to Manchester to perform in her Pink Friday 2 world tour. She was arrested by the Royal Netherlands Police. She had been scheduled to perform in Birmingham in the UK on Saturday night, but this was postponed as a result of her arrest. According to CNN, when asked about Minaj's arrest, the Netherlands military police said they'd arrested a 41-year-old American woman with soft drugs at the airport. In a post to her Twitter account on Sunday, Minaj wrote, "She made it to Birmingham and thanked those who had prayed for her." Finally, the BBC is reporting 15 people have been killed as tornadoes and storms tore across central areas of the U.S., destroying homes and cutting apart hundreds of thousands of people. 7 people were killed in northern Texas, 5 in Arkansas, 2 in Oklahoma, and 1 in Kentucky. Scores others were injured. Almost 500,000 were without electricity across several states up to late Sunday evening. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 o'clock, brought to you with the compliments of Genesco Appliances Limited.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
It is Monday, the 27th day of May. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital, on our app, on our website, of course, on Facebook, on YouTube, on television, on Flow Channel 111, Flow HD 109, Digicel Channel 20, Ampere Channel 117. Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for watching and listening to us. Of course, it's a warm morning already. It is 28 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 27 at Crown Point. It's warm. Traffic-wise, got nothing right to tell you about. Just if you're westbound on the Beetham, just before you take that exit by NP, the T&Tech is doing some work there. So half of the left lane is closed off. So please take note of that. When you're heading west, you know you can stay in the middle or the right lane. Good morning to you, Pablo. What's happening?
Morning, Steve. Good morning, Wendell.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and listeners and viewers all over the globe. Special good morning to Charmaine from New York. She is in Trinidad and Tobago for a few days. Again, welcome back again, Charmaine, and hope you have a wonderful visit this time.
Good morning, Charmaine. Thank you so much for logging on. Good morning to Edwin Marshall, Oliver Man Warren, Maria Celia, Wendy and James, DJ Ray out in Delaware, Garcilia in Valencia, Boy Badesi out in Debe, Doreen Pierre. Good morning to you. And yes, it is a holiday in the U.S. It's Memorial Day. Rena Boodoo Jennings, good morning. Slick Money Grip, Alistair Hart, John Cato, Gloria Gray, Isasha out in London. Ian Lee, good morning to you. He says good morning from Portsmouth, London. It is May Day today. All right. Mrs. R. Ray, haven't heard from you all week. Hope all is well. Good morning to you, Ray, out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Brenda Isaac, Miss Ingrid, Tucson, Arizona. Randy Kelly, CJ, New York. Colin Jack, Trinidad, Margot. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube and on Facebook. I got some people. I got Michael out in London. I have GNC Auto Security. I have, let's see, this is David Nelson. Thank you so much, David. Dan Raj, he says, I'm alive. I got Val. I got Dre out in Rio Claro. Good morning to you all. A lot of messages this morning. I hope everybody had a great weekend. On Saturday, the Met Office said we are in the rainy season as the passing of Tropical Wave 1.
Yeah.
They got some serious licks on social media yesterday, boy. Ooh.
Well, there was a grand charge of rain apparently down in the west over the weekend, Saturday. And people say, well, I tell them not a drop fell in Arima. And that's where they measure the weather, not so up Arima.
Piarco. Yeah, we had some rain out in San Juan by the Pet Butler. But I don't know, they got some serious licks yesterday. And they need to, and in 2024, they need to get their act together. They do.
Well, if the rainy season will be as bad as the dry season is, well, we're in for a torrid rainy season, a terrible rainy season. Because this dry season has been probably the worst we have had for a long, long time. Well, the longest spell of dryness, hotness for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, let me get my birthdays out of the way, please. Lennox Sandy, happy birthday, Lennox. That is BB from down in Cookery. Nadel Archie works at the Port of Spain Corporation. Happy birthday, Nadel. Donna Marks, Jamila Al-Razi Abbott. I saw her exercising this morning, my neighbor. Happy birthday, Jamila. Diane Deshanta, Saida Mohammed. The mayor of San Fernando, Robert Paris, is also celebrating his birthday today. And yesterday were Antonio Butts, whom I'm sure I met him at the Queen's Park Savannah over the carnival time. And Kamla Samsundar Mohammed, she also works at the Port of Spain Corporation. Happy birthday to you all, and hope you are having a fantastic day and week ahead. This is a short week, only 3 days of work for us. Yay! I can't tell you how happy I am. I don't know where these holidays has come from now, but it's so timely.
No kidding, huh?
They are so timely.
Happy birthday to my good friend, Melissa Topher, the wife of my good friend Larry Topher. It's his wife's birthday, Melissa, so happy birthday.
What difference is it to you, Wendell?
For a holiday?
You're a globetrotter. You're jumping up there and go anyway.
More than likely, you're doing it again. But
exactly.
Yeah.
So don't worry about 2 days and 3 days. So you'll be on a plane in the middle of work week anyway. So
no, it just means I can actually sleep late, because when I have to get up for radio, I kind of almost have a sleepless night, you know. Because I'm studying what to do, how to treat with Paul, how to deal with Steve, how to handle Richard. All that going through my mind whole night sometimes, you know. Especially you, Paul.
Oh, love is in the air.
And I get up early, my alarm.
30 seconds after 8, I don't think of you at all.
Well, me too, I have to tell you that, Almost immediately I'm saying, let go and let go. That's it. You guys are out of my mind.
But you just said that you have to think about how to deal with me overnight and you can't sleep.
No,
so
I said on the morning that I have to get up to do radio.
But then you see you can't sleep, which means it starts late, sir.
Well, yeah, it happens sometimes.
Me out of your head.
It happens
At a minute after 8, oh, bye.
Yeah.
But does Steve in the office I didn't really think about you at all?
Is Richard taught me how to do that, you know, how to sign off from this show, you know. This show, it's going on 19 years I doing this show on a morning, you know. I never thought it was possible.
You know, you were talking about the weather just now, both you guys. And the problem with the weather forecast to me now is that they need to move past the generalized forecast for one part of the country, as if it's the whole country.
Well, I have said that so many times.
Operate like if it's, because when you get a weathercast for example, New York City, they will say the Bronx weather different to Central Manhattan or South Manhattan. And this generalized weathercast for Trinidad and Tobago as if it's one weathercast for Trinidad and Tobago, and more so, the East will have the same weather conditions as the West Trinidad or South or Central. It's ridiculous at this stage.
I agree with that statement.
You know, it's like, really?
Yeah.
No, very often, because I was in Port of Spain. I went for an appointment on Saturday, and I went in at 12 o'clock. And by the time I came out 2 hours later, it was overcast and very rainy in Port of Spain, and the east was dry. And so then I'm driving from South Trinidad, heavy rain in South Trinidad, reach Iguana's place dry. So this overall weathercast is no longer applicable, Mr. Meteorologist. But get some more equipment or something. Jeez.
But they had people come in to fix the radar system that was down.
You do your massages in Port of Spain, Paul?
Huh?
Sometimes.
Oh, jeez.
Anytime I hear somebody have a 2-hour appointment, I don't know what's going on. You know?
And he's saying a word. No, but the Met Office really need to get their act together. Look, it's 6:15, and the last weather forecast was at 3:56 yesterday.
It was actually a manicure and pedicure.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I thought of that too, but 2 hours, yeah.
I
But
don't
yes,
want
I
no
do have a
pedicure at all.
massage in Port of Spain.
I don't want a pedicure at all. I'm very ticklish.
I am ticklish too, but I am hooked on it. I try to do it as often as I could because it relaxes me. It's a time to just relax sometimes too.
And you're right, I fall asleep every time. Anyway, good morning to you,
sit back and do nothing.
And Tobago. Good morning, Nicki Minaj. She's free.
Yes.
The irony of
she
it.
like drama.
To be held in the Netherlands for marijuana is ironic to me.
But was it marijuana?
It's marijuana.
Soft
It's a
drug.
soft drug. To be held in the Netherlands for marijuana possession is ridiculous. I mean, really, somebody wanted to get a Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, true.
Really?
Yeah, I think she got set up, or
Of
either
course she
that.
got set up. To be in Netherlands.
Yes.
Of all places.
For marijuana?
Yeah, it was kind of unusual. I thought it was something else because I didn't think it would have been marijuana. I'm saying marijuana in
I like how
Netherlands.
she stood her ground though. She said, "No, why did you? What you didn't take my bag? You didn't give me permission to take my bags." She really put on her phone and she started recording and stream everything.
Yeah, she went live.
Smart girl.
Yeah.
And she's talking to them very calmly. She said, "No, I'm not coming out. Where are you taking me? You need to tell me where you're taking me. I need a lawyer. I'm not going without a lawyer." She had them busy.
Yeah.
She did.
She said, "Why did you take my bags without my permission?
Yeah.
Where are my bags?" And she's right. You could put anything in my bag at that point. But in Netherlands? Really? Netherlands? Really?
Yeah. I have had.
All the only woman for nothing.
But those immigration.
Not marijuana.
Those officials in the Netherlands are not very friendly. Yeah? I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 interactions with them. They're not very friendly.
Really?
Yeah. They're not very they're not very accommodating. You wouldn't think it's a country that is as liberal as they are the way they operate there. At that border point. Airport, yeah. Because I've been to Schiphol on 4 occasions, as I said, and had to interact with them. And they're not very friendly.
Police commissioner, will I hear what Christopher says? Bad parenting and lack of proper parenting is one of the root causes of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Absolutely right. Right? She was speaking at the TNT National Council of Parent Teachers Associations Media Convention in Tobago. She said breakdowns in the home, church, community, and school systems have led to an unrealistic reliance on the TT police service to solve all of society's problems. That commissioner here is
you sign up for that job.
He start off good and he is going on a road that making excuses.
Yeah, you sign up
We're
for
not
that.
relying on the police service to solve all of society's problems. We're relying on the police service to do the work.
Which is why last week I called and I said, listen, no, the police have a greater responsibility. They have the responsibility of the state and the backing of the state behind them. So don't compare police.
You start off good. And then talking about an unrealistic reliance on the police service to solve our society problem. No. Do your work. That's all.
Yep.
And clean up car police. They always say they go down this road. Yes, we know. I agree with your first statement. We don't have an unrealistic reliance on the police to solve all of society's problems. No. Vet your speech a little better.
Yeah.
We just want you to catch your criminals. And apparently there was a voice note circulating on the weekend, Friday and Saturday, with what police believe to be threats by members of this resistance gang, whoever this resistance gang is, after the 4 men who were suspected of involvement in the kidnapping of doubles vendor Anisha Hussain Singh were killed in an exchange of gunfire. Was it an exchange of gunfire?
That's what they said.
Okay.
They said it was an exchange of gunfire.
Okay. In St. Augustine. They said there was no credible information to suggest the threats would develop into attacks on police and the Deputy Commissioner of Prisons. Apparently, the Commissioner of Prisons is going off now on retirement.
Yes, Mr. Ramuta. Yeah.
So they've amped up patrols in St. Augustine and Tunapuna, and are looking into these threats to police officers, against police officers, I should say, and prisons officers. But gangs bad now, eh? Them threatening police.
Yeah, well, they've been doing it a while, you know.
Well,
They've been doing it a while.
we'll have to put back what I was about to say there, yes.
I've not heard of the resistance gang before recently, though. I've not heard of them before.
I can't keep up.
You know,
Is 6, is 7, is 8, is 9, is 10.
yeah, this thing has been allowed to get so very much out of hand. You know, I feel sorry for the TTPS sometimes, but again, you know, we allowed it to get this bad. You understand?
Wendell,
And we have to try to fix it. I don't know how, but we have to try to fix it.
the police are on the interdiction end of the spectrum. If we do not deal with the influx of illegal drugs as a transshipment point, and deal with those who import the drugs passing through this country, because that gang warfare is about money.
Yes.
And we have not successfully, by any stretch of the imagination, and drugs and guns, because they go together, illegal guns, want to deal with that, with the people who bring in the drugs and the guns in containers. We will be dealing with the police having to do with the bloodshed in the streets forever, because this country seems incapable of identifying and stopping the people from bringing the illegal drugs and the guns, because we've been known as a illegal drug transshipment point for decades.
For decades, correct.
But apparently, whoever bringing in the drugs and shipping them to the country, too big to touch.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And I sometimes wonder how these people feel, because they're here, they live in here, most of them, how they feel when they see the results of their illegal activities, when they see what's happening to our country with their illegal activities.
Because they have security and they live in gated communities and they have security in their house, and they take them to the edifices. Okay? They have, and the children don't live here. Okay? Right. Yeah. There's so much more I could say.
It's so sad.
Right? It's just like what has been the conversation in the last couple of days, where a credible conversation has ensued about payment of tax in the country.
Yeah. When
you and me have to file every year, but somebody could not file tax for 20 years and 10 years. And BRR letting it slide.
Yeah, that is another crazy happening.
Laws apply to some, and laws that apply to some.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are people.
Wendell, Steve, you're a businessman. You don't pay your tax.
It prompted me to post the other day. I don't owe tax. I don't owe NIS. I don't owe anything on my mortgage. The only thing I ain't completely pay for, I think, might be my sins. You understand? But I don't think I completely pay for that. I think I pay off for most. And these people get it away, and then they have a voice.
Pause. Let me enjoy that for a second. Let me enjoy that. I find that's a profound statement, you know.
But it's a true statement.
The only thing I ain't pay for is pay off all for my sins. You pay for the word.
I don't think I completely pay off. I think, you know.
But that has been a conversation in the public domain since last week.
But these are people, Paul and Steve, who've been very vocal on so many different issues and about communities and how they are and whatnot over the years. Not so? And that's what you do it. And that's what you do it. You denying these same communities.
Watch. I don't put the responsibility on them. I put the responsibility on the Board of Inland Revenue.
Correct. And maybe the Board of Inland Revenue needs to tell us what they have been doing over the years to at least try and bring this debt down. Is it that it was 200 million
And
it's
that
down
is,
to
you know,
93.
they says 15 billion in all. The head of the chairman of the Revenue Authority, Nigel Edwards, says the Revenue Authority is kicking in, and its intended purpose is to close the tax gap where taxes are concerned, collection of taxes. And if this, we heard about two companies, right?
Yes.
And what we hear about.
To the tune of 93 plus 34 million is how much?
That is 127.
93, 103, 113.
127.
$127 million. That's just two. So, how?
Yeah.
So how?
And
how many more?
Yeah. Is it that it was double that and it came down to where it is now? We don't know.
No. They said the reports indicated non-payment of tax and penalties, which may and in one case they indicated it did not include the interest.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Did not include interest.
And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that you could go by you in existence 21 years according to the reports, and seemingly tax has not been paid for 20 years. So
and let me tell you something, they may not be paying. All right, the reports are that they have been paying the taxes. There's a good chance they have been paying NIS, that the employees.
Well, my understanding is that some employees in one of the companies have already putting their requisition to what the brain going flat here. So NIS, to the National Insurance Board, to find out if their NIS contributions have been indeed landing.
Yeah, there's a good chance they haven't been paying that.
You understand? Well, J97, I fully agree with the watermelon revenue. I've said this last week. Although they're late in arresting the situation, making arrangements for payment plan, because what you don't want is that the company is shut down and people go unemployed.
Yeah.
You don't want that. So that people who say, well, shut them down, it's just nonsense. Don't shut down anybody. Make a payment plan. And if that can't work out, then you take more punitive steps. But you should try it all, make all efforts to keep the companies going.
Yeah. Some of the biggest criminal enterprises have been stopped due to tax evasion, in other jurisdictions.
I always forget.
That's how they got them in.
That one is tax evasion, not avoidance. Which one is avoidance and which one is evasion?
Both of them is the same thing?
No, they're not the same thing.
Tax evasion?
Tax evasion is different to tax avoidance. They're very different.
Okay. Well, all right.
One is not paying. The other one is hiding, and one is more serious than one, hiding and lying about your taxes.
Okay. So you really think if they've not been paying that they've been truthful?
Well, I don't know. But they're two different things, and we need to be careful.
All right.
One is much more. One is just not paying, but the other one is lying about what tax liabilities you actually have.
I concur, but I maintain that if they've not been paying, avoiding the taxes, it also means that they may have been filing.
May have been and have been is two different things. I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah, well, we can.
Not only that, gentlemen, there are certain things with that. Let's say that you need to get done, government-wise. You have to make sure your taxes are paid right up.
Yes.
When I was
Steve, it means that you and I probably not everybody clearly.
Sorry. But I remember when we opened the pet bottle, I had to go to the board and make sure
that's you. You are
1 year.
Right. Maybe if you're large enough, you could get away with it.
Yeah.
Everything you apply for here, you have to get a tax clearance.
You have to get a tax clearance.
But I'm glad that seemingly the state is closing the gap. Clearly, the Revenue Authority aspects of it is kicking in, and they are finding ways to close the gap. Because I mean, clearly, something went drastically wrong. Because I mean, and that's just two.
Yeah.
You know, I saw some business chambers very upset that the information has gone public. Well, we're not sure if the information has gone public through the BIR. If it is through the BIR would have been breaking the law because there's strict confidentiality clauses in people's financial information.
Were they as upset when the HDC revealed how much people owing them and start putting people out? Were they
No,
upset?
Wendell,
Did
those
the
are small
chambers make
fries.
any noise?
No,
Huh?
those are small fries.
Did the chamber make any noise when people were being put out of the house the other day for owing HDC? Not a peep out of them. As soon as they go after big business, now they make a noise. Oh, give me a break. Give me a break. All of them who make a noise.
Good morning and congratulations to Makila Pandey.
Mm-hmm.
She launched her party's 2025 general election campaign, saying that the Patriotic Front will contest all 41 seats.
She had a big crowd there too.
Yeah, she did very well. Let's take a look at
Listen,
this.
brothers, ladies, and gentlemen, on Monday, 27th of May, 2024, we will be opening nominations for the upcoming general elections for those who seek to be candidates. The Patriotic Front will be contesting 41 constituencies. We seek candidates who will listen to the people, who will be a true voice for their constituents in the halls of power. If you believe in our values and are passionate about serving your constituency, we encourage you to step forward.
So she'll be our guest tomorrow on the Power Breakfast Show.
And what a timing, in the middle of the UNC's internal elections. And you know what I noted? Rushton Parry launched his slate yesterday called
and also Mrs. The Star, is it the Star group?
Star Alliance, I think.
Star group with Dr. Munilal and Julian John and
David Lee, Khadija, the normal posse now. Yeah.
I don't know about the normal posse, but they've also
normal
launched
posse.
their slate.
They've
also launched their slate. So
let me finish say what I say about Rushton Parry. So he launched his slate is called United Patriots. So he invited Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar responded to him about the coincidence of his name, United Patriots, to Patriotic Front. I say, oh, Jesus, this lady's trouble. So clearly she's smelling a rat somewhere that he chose that kind of name. United
A 7-page letter, 7 pages.
Yes, 7-page letter. And, well, she's entitled to respond the way she responded, that, you just bad talking me and now you invited me to your launch.
Said he's a mischief maker.
Yeah.
Well, you don't expect her to say, well, he's a good boy, he really works.
Well, he and Anita Haynes and them had crowd for yesterday.
Yeah. Of course, our guest coming up next hour will be Anita Haynes.
Oh, gosh. I only laugh. Look, that Dr. Rowley must be inside it and you need doing that Tobago jig. So,
Yeah.
heel and toe.
It's going to be
going up for deputy political leader.
It's going to be quite an interesting GE 2025. Let me just say that.
It's going to be hectic.
Yep, it's going to be quite an interesting election dynamic. I'll tell you that much. Between the PEP, the NTA, the PPE, Kizel Jackson Party, Makila's Patriotic Front, and a plethora of parties. It will be quite an interesting election.
And
2025.
all of them coming together for one reason alone. All of them coming for one reason alone, to get rid of the PNM. All of them. Them ain't fooling me one bit. None. None of them ain't fooling me. All of them going to come together. Watch and see.
Condolences to Dr. Keith Rowley. He lost his brother.
He did?
Sometime last week.
Yeah.
Yes. Condolences.
Yes.
He was absent from the house on Friday. A little furor broke out when questions were posed to the office of the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And,
they make a bacchanal about that too,
well, it is. I think it's one day a month your Prime Minister's question. So, I understand why.
But you don't lose a brother every month.
I am not saying he had no right to. He shouldn't have been there, but I'm saying that I understand both sides of it because he was bereaved and he was grieving, and his family was grieving. But on the other side of it, I don't think an announcement was made beforehand that he would not have been there.
Mm.
You understand? I think if that was done, maybe it would have it would have been an easier rule, because I didn't hear an announcement made.
Well,
Dr.
is
Rowley was
it
going
that
to-
they were supposed to say, guys, I just feel Dr. Rowley brother going and die this coming?
No, Wendell, that's not what I mean, and you know that's not what
No,
I
no,
mean.
I know that's not what you mean.
I mean in the house.
No, Paul, I'm not attacking you. I don't think that's what you meant. I'm just saying I'm going down their road because they had a problem with him missing. So is it that he was supposed to know his brother going and die and that he would be grieving? Oh God, death is a time where you just leave people to grieve now. And don't say nothing. I always tell people that, I just find it difficult to tell people, accept my condolences. Because it's a time when people don't really want to hear something either. They just wish they just want to see your presence, feel your presence. They don't need to actually hear you. Sometimes I go at wakes and so on, and I hear people talking. I say, give the family a break.
Yes, so that happened.
Yeah, so we have lots of politics to deal with. Anita Haynes.
Condolences also to the family, friends, and colleagues of Dr. Anita Haynes, one of the education pioneers in the country, former principal of the St. Augustine Girls High School, many credited with making that top female educational institution in the country for secondary school education. She was a recipient of several national awards, including the Merit of Gold in 1976, Shakonia Medal in 1990. And she was honored as one of 50 people to be honored for excellence in education, and just an amazing individual all around. Her funeral will take place tomorrow at the, I can never pronounce this right, Aramalaya Presbyterian Church in Tunapuna. To condolences to her family and colleagues and friends.
Yes. I sent you a clip. I don't know if you got it. From Miss Mahase since in 1985.
No, I didn't get it. I got the one from Makila Pandey. I don't know. You sure you sent it to me?
Yeah, I'm sure. I sent it to both you and the Power Breakfast Show. I said this would be a good clip to play in tribute to her.
Yeah,
I would have sent that, yes.
Yes.
There's Paul.
So those are the I had to attend 2 funerals last week, and it's just like, I don't know more funerals.
Yeah.
No more funerals.
You haven't opened it as yet, Paul, but it's there. Look at the last message coming.
Maybe I thought it was one of the other things you would send to me on occasion. I didn't feel for that this weekend.
I didn't get something from you for a little while. What, you're off TikTok and Instagram these days, or what?
Former Attorney General John Jeremy. This is an interesting development. Who was shortlisted to be appointed an appeal court judge, justice by the Judicial Legal Services, has withdrawn from consideration.
Who's that?
John Jeremy.
Oh,
It's controversial. He's very, very controversial at many times.
yeah.
He was the Attorney General under Patrick Manning between 2003 and 2007, and again between 2009 and 2010. He's a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Law, UAC in Augustine campus. There are several vacancies coming up in the Court of Appeal, which now comprises Chief Justice Ivo Archie and 11 other judges. So 3 are going to be retiring, 2 are going to serve in Caribbean courts, and there's some other retirements scheduled. So there's some vacancies coming up on the Court of Appeal, which is very, very significant. So he withdrew from consideration. I tell you enough back on that when he was announced as a shortlisted person.
Okay, I didn't follow that story
in legal circles.
Mm.
In legal circles.
John Jeremy is senior counsel also, not so? Is he? He served twice as Attorney General.
I never heard the phrase John Jeremy senior counsel.
Okay.
I never heard that. Maybe he is, but I don't remember hearing that.
I haven't seen him for a while. He was a strange person, boy, because I would have interacted with him on a few occasions. As a matter of fact, he was the Attorney General when I had my issues with the Port of Spain Corporation. And through the then Minister of National Security, Martin Joseph, I would have reached out to him for advice on how I should move forward on it. Because I was suing the corporation.
You get advice from the Attorney General?
I said I reached out to Martin Joseph, who reached out to him because
you get advice.
Remember, hold on. Remember, and as a matter of fact, I asked Martin to inform the.
He was a senior counsel. He was a senior counsel.
He was. He is.
He is a senior counsel. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't make joke that time when I was under attack.
You sought advice from the Attorney General.
I make sure the office holders knew what was about to happen because it hit the front page of Boxing Day, and it wasn't a nice reaction from some of my colleagues. You understand? At the time, but
you are a real big shot.
No, when I come under personal attack, I have to fight back. I'm sorry. I'm not a friend of the court, but I have used the court and I continue to use it. You understand? David Wares, you're most welcome. Yeah. So what else is happening? What else happened over the week? I saw
Khadija Amin is calling for the government to help curb school violence, and this could be the subject of our question, by installing metal detectors at so-called high-risk schools.
We going back with that discussion again?
Well, there was stabbing last week, at a school in South.
Yeah.
I don't know that metal detectors are needed. People, I don't know. I'm torn on that particular issue of a metal detector at a school. You walk into a metal detector in a school. Where's it? I suspect there's precedent for that somewhere.
Environment is a significant contributor of behavior and future behavior. And if you start treating children like criminals, some will develop into criminals.
Yeah.
And putting metal detectors at school entrances is akin to prison environments.
Yes.
Let me just put it like that.
I can't support that.
And I disagree with that vehemently.
Yeah,
I don't mind random searches.
Which is what they do now.
Yeah, I don't mind random searches, but starting to create environments akin to incarceration environments is not the way to go.
Yeah. Not at a school anyway.
Not in a school.
Yeah.
And I understand what we're being confronted with, but that's something I disagree with also.
Yeah. I
don't think that's the answer.
No.
Okay. There's also a call for senior counsel, the late Dana Sita, to be bestowed posthumously with the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
Because of her significant contribution. I'm surprised she never got it, but when she was alive, because she was such a striking national figure.
Well, anyway, because I heard that argument also too for Dr. Mahase.
And Dr. Mahase, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, posthumous is a little late, but I mean, it would certainly validate what their contributions would have been to the national development. So those are some of the major stories trending. Let me roll to the newspapers. It's now 6:44 on May 27th. See us flying very, very quickly. You see us zooming past.
Yeah, boy.
Speaking of zooming past, good morning, Mr. Ragoobarsingh.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Hey.
Good morning to our listeners, wherever you are.
Richard, I actually didn't expect you this early because
before you settle in, let me bestow congratulations and salutations on behalf of Senator Hazel Thompson. She said she and her family thoroughly enjoyed your play on Saturday night.
Oh,
she messaged me before 5 this morning to tell me, please convey to Richard that she and her party enjoyed your play on Saturday night, but they went to the play.
Okay, great.
Well, I have to tell Richard, I haven't done this in a long time. Go back to see a play so soon after it's aired. The only play I've ever seen twice is American Dance. And I went back because I had a friend and he and his mother, we decided to go yesterday. And Central Bank was packed to capacity, and I've never heard such a raucous crowd.
Yeah.
Richard walked hard in that play.
I was trying to go on Saturday night, but
no, that play, Richard, I was walking down the steps and talking about the play, and people were overhearing me, and I was comparing it to American Dance, and people joined in the thing. And it's a toss-up right now. In my mind, it's still a toss-up, but that play is such a good play, Richard. I don't know how you're going to stop that play.
Yeah. I mean, people had so much fun coming to that play, and we had already 2 good audiences at Central Bank Auditorium, and both were equally raucous. Saturday night was very raucous.
Wait, and the whole crowd going, wait with each other. Wait. Or you just
wait. Everybody, wait.
The whole crowd saying the words. We enjoyed it.
I have to see it soon enough. Richard, do you have papers?
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't have papers this morning.
You get up late this morning, roll out of bed after the bar last night, celebrating. It is Monday, the 27th of May. Let's start with the Express Bar Association renews calls ORTT for Dana. That's Dana Sita Hall. Makila eyeing all 41 seats. Another potential question this morning is, do you think Makila Pandey will win any seats in the upcoming general election? That's a possible question. Kamala's Stars launched tonight. The opposition leader, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, will launch her star team, state of candidates for the United National Congress upcoming NATEX election tonight. Tension in Tobago. United Patriots want a healthy UNC. That's, of course, Rushton Paris slate. We'll have Anita Haynes on just after 7. Nicki Minaj released following arrest in the Netherlands. She's now in the UK. And sad news, barmaid dies driving home from work.
Yeah, it's sad.
Right. Let's move now to the Guardian for today. Sri Kanal and Malik for performance on the Limbo Queen. They'll have a performance at the Big Black Box
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, bongo night.
Right. Home invasions on the rise. Economist BR putting taxpayers at risk. Love is not enough. Little Miriam needs escape. Makila, no mudslinging in Patriotic Front campaign. 2 million for laureates of Anthony N. Sabga Awards. Teen killed in police shooting. Police briefed on gang threats. Accept change or face the storm, so says Rushton Paris crew. And Auditor General's 2023 report. Trade Ministry scammed of US $26,000. That report have enough back on it by itself. That's for another day. Let's move now to the Newsday. UNC star team slate announced. UNC's internal election gets going. Party promises. Amin put metal detectors in high-risk schools. Trinidadian marine scientist collects Anthony N. Sabga Award for excellence. House sits for mid-year review in June. Reservoirs still low following weekend rains. Police arrest 3 fake police in 600,000 extortion attempt. And waitress dies in Marbella accident. Opposition leader, Huey Lord and Louis Lord Anna Mahase. So those are trending stories in your Express, Guardian, and Newsday. For today, May 27th.
There was also a fatal accident. I don't know if the people died in the accident or the drowning last night down Chagrama Way. See, it's in our chat.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know much about that. A car was opposite Mobs 2 or something?
Yeah. O2
and a car was in the sea?
It ran off the road. People said the guy was driving recklessly and he just took a straight corner and went straight into the ocean. And the video showed 2 bodies on the ground with fire trucks and so on in the area. And
I saw that as well. So we'll get confirmation on that.
Yeah, we'll get some more details later, hopefully.
All right, let's get the results of our morning poll from Friday. On Friday, we asked you, do you think the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service were instrumental in the release of Anisha Hussain Singh? That was our poll on Friday. I'll give you the results right after this.
Know and reduce your risk. Do you know the hazards around your home, your work, or where you traverse regularly? Are you prone to impacts caused by hazards like flooding, landslides, high winds, rough seas, or bushfires? All of these can affect your household, business, or place of worship during a disaster. Remember, it's not just your home. You must also consider the hazards where you work or regularly travel. For example, Your home may be at risk of a flood, but while driving to work, you might be at risk of a landslide. Do you know everyone, as in all of Trinidad and Tobago, is at risk of earthquakes, tsunamis, or even an explosion? Plan ahead to reduce your risk before, during, and after a crisis, an emergency, or when disaster strikes. Follow us on the ODPM's social media pages to learn more on how you can be prepared, be secured, and be ready.
All right, be ready. Experience innovation and inverted technologies refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills at Genesco Appliances Limited. Discover the versatility of a dual-function chest freezer switchable between refrigeration or freezer mode, available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. Don't miss their unbeatable offer on the 13 kg twin-tub washers, and for the aspiring chefs, the 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with a built-in rotisserie oven. These specials won't last, so check out Genesco Appliances Limited on Facebook and on Instagram, or even give them a call, 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide. All right, the results of our morning poll from Friday. Do you think the TDPS was instrumental in the release of Anita Haynes? 56%, 56 said yes.
Wow, that's a far cry from the actual poll we did.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into this morning's poll.
I'm not sure which of the polls you all continue.
Go with the Patriot Front question, Paul. I don't, because we're interviewing Ms. Michaela Pandey tomorrow, so you could go, or you could do the United Patriots question, which is that Russian party is that, and them is predicting that unless there's change in the UNC, that will be the end of them. You could go with that one because we're doing Anita Haynes today. Do you think that this is the end of Kamala Prasad-Bissesa's reign, as predicted by Russian party and the United Patriots?
United Patriots? I don't understand. What is that?
That's the name. The name of their group is United Patriots.
Oh, their slate?
Yeah, their slate, yeah.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to Patriotic Front, which is Ms. Michaela Pandey's
All right.
Party, yeah.
So call us right now, 222-8255, toll free. North Americans, 866-525-1099 on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Of course, on Facebook and on YouTube. So many of you all have sent messages. We'll get to them shortly. But again, our morning poll.
Do you think Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front will win any seats in the 2025 elections? That's the poll?
Yeah.
So I'm getting confirmation about that accident down by Utu Park. It was a fatal. There were fatalities.
Oh, both of them. Ouch. Do you think Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front will win any seats in the general elections come next year, 2025? Yes or no? All right. That's all.
Right, John?
Yeah, I can write.
All right.
All right.
Terrence Brown, I agree with you on your comment. On your suggestion.
Oh, okay. Jaron Joseph says, no, they will not. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Khan.
Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Wendell.
Morning, Ms. Bobby.
It's a hard fight, but we all have to go with what we all feel that we will be better with. Mr. Khan, after your program, this is serious. I would like to contact you at your number. Would you please just hear me out? This is serious.
Okay.
Yeah, it is serious, but the poll to this, I would say, is that she's a tough woman to compare, but again, is where the betterment comes in. This is my conclusion.
All right. Thank you.
You didn't vote, eh?
You didn't vote.
Yes, okay.
Good morning, caller. Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front will win any seat in the 2025 general elections.
Good morning.
Good morning, Orlando. Orlando calling. My answer is yes, she would win because of her father. She would definitely win her seat.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Anyhow, Miguel says yes. Keith Bissessa, yes. Royalty Forever, no. Alan Reese, yes. Boy Bedisi, no. He says I wish, but no. John Cato, yes. Let's move in here. DL, no. Julie Espetiste, yes. Lester Craigwell, yes. All right, let's check WhatsApp here. We've got Kazim Mohammed is saying no. Michael in London is saying definitely yes. Captain Ron, morning Captain Ron. Hope all is well. In New York says yes. Chris Toussaint in Washington, D.C., yes. Well, I do Julia Lester Craig, where Helen Prescott says yes. Carol Guevara says no. Carl Jack says yes. Slick Money Grip, no. Oscar Daniel, no. Godzilla, yes. Do you think Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front will win any seats in the upcoming general elections to be held next year, 2025? Yes or no? Godzilla, yes to the poll.
Interesting
To the
poll.
talk, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, and that's absolutely toll free to North Americans. People on all the streaming platforms, you can send your votes via the messaging portals located there. And if you're watching us on cable television, you can WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021.
Donna Clark says yes. Joycelyn Dial-Singh says split votes, no yes. We just want no yes, that's all. Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona, yes. All right. Let's see. I got Black Pearl. Good morning to you, Black Pearl. Hope all is well. And she says yes. Bobby. Morning, Bob. No. Cascade St. Anne's says yes.
Mr. Niwaloli, I agree with you. Patriotic Front need to win enough to become the opposition in the country. And get rid of this Mrs. Prasad Bissessa and that moribund bunch she has there. Maybe we might get better politics coming out of there. Of course, PNM had to change up some of the people too, because some of them are waste of time.
Like,
and let this country start to move on.
Like who?
Don't ask me who, Paul. Don't ask me who. I know that's what you want to ask me.
Good.
Well, you're making a statement,
Wendell, he's a confusion maker.
If he's yes, he's a confusion maker.
All right, let's go back to the votes. Ian Lee says
like that old
yes.
red.
Adrian Kutu says yes.
You make a statement. You make a statement that PNM need to get rid of some people. You said so. What's that cool?
Dan Raj says
no.
Thank you, Black Pearl. Keith Bissessa.
A PNM government and a patriotic front opposition is probably what this country needs right now.
All right, keep voting on our poll. It's going to stay up until tomorrow morning when we'll give you the final results. Of course, news all powered by Genesco Appliances comes up in about 20 seconds time.
You want to take my little bet? That some of the United Patriots people end up on Patriotic Front. You want to take my bet? No, anyone want to take my bet?
I mean, that's a possibility, I guess.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The UNC days are numbered. That'll be a poll sometime when I'm not wrong.
All right. Alistair Hart says yes to the poll. Thank you, Alistair Hart. I'm just checking here. I got some here. Ooh, I've got Miss Bonnie West saying yes. I have got, if you guys could put your name, Evans David says yes to the poll. And I have got, who's this from? Gloria Charles Panton saying yes to the poll.
Hey, Gloria. Morning, Gloria.
Yeah, morning, Gloria. Hope all is well. All right. Right. Okay. So let's get into our 7 o'clock major news. Evie Hill Bab is it.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The police commissioner says that the lack of proper parenting is one of the root causes of crime. Police on alert after threats made against police officers and a deputy commissioner of prisons. Former Attorney General John Jeremy withdraws from consideration for appeal court justice, and a call has been made for metal detectors in schools. Details in a moment.
Right, of course, your 7 o'clock major news, all powered by Genesco Appliances. Experience innovation and inverted technology refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills at Genesco Appliances Limited. Discover the versatility of a dual function chest freezer switchable between refrigeration or freezer mode, available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. And don't miss their unbeatable offer on the 13 kg twin tub washers. And for the aspiring chef, the 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with a built-in rotisserie awaits. These specials won't last, so check out Genesco Appliances on Facebook, Instagram, or give them a call at 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide.
P message 27. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. A lack of proper parenting has been cited by the police commissioner, Earl Haywood Christopher, as one of the root causes of crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Commissioner Earl Haywood Christopher is asking parents not to have unrealistic expectations that the police can solve their problems. She made the comments while speaking during the Trinidad and Tobago National Council of Parent-Teacher Associations mid-year convention celebrating 64 years. It was held at the Hampton Multipurpose Facility, Lowlands, Tobago over the weekend.
With all that the police can do and will do, there is no effective substitute to proper parenting. Proper parenting is the core of addressing the root causes of many of our problems.
Commissioner Christopher said breakdowns in the home, church, community, and school systems have led to an unrealistic reliance on the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to solve all of society's problems.
In our desperation, there is this unrealistic expectation and over-reliance on the police to deter, detect, and detain. And somehow, hopefully, that will pull things back. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service understands the national problem and acknowledges that there is a role that we can play in restoring, rebuilding, and rebranding our communities and our society.
Police from various operational and intelligence units have been briefed after threats were made against police officers and Deputy Commissioner of Prisons. A voice note circulated on WhatsApp between Friday and Saturday included threats to police officers from members of the resistance gang. They were made after 4 men suspected of involvement in the kidnapping of doubles vendor Anisha Hussain Singh were killed by police in Upper St. Michael's Road off St. John's Road, St. Augustine, on Thursday. Intelligence sources confirmed that a meeting was held on Saturday to discuss the threat and the influence of the resistance gang. They said there was no credible information to suggest the threats would develop into attacks on police, but officers were still advised to be on alert as patrols and exercises in and around the St. Augustine and Tunapuna area will increase. There have been situations in the past where criminals have made very serious, credible threats to the lives of police officers, and it came to their attention. Officers from the Cybercrime and Social Media Unit are trying to trace the origin of that threat. It was not known if that threat also originated from the resistance gang. President of the Prison Officers Association, Jared Gordon, said while the video highlighted the danger prison officers face, it was not particularly surprising. He said prison officers did not seem to be particularly unsettled by it. Gordon said he hoped those responsible for threatening prison officers would be found and brought to justice. Media reports say former Attorney General John Jeremy, who was shortlisted to be appointed an appeal court justice by the Judicial and Legal Service, has withdrawn from consideration for the prestigious position. Jeremy served as Attorney General under the Patrick Manning administration between 2003 and 2007, and again during 2009 to 2010. He is a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Law at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. The move by the JLSC to fill vacancies in the Court of Appeal, which now comprise Archie and 11 other judges, comes after 3 appeal court judges opted for early retirement. 2 others have applied to serve on Caribbean courts, and 2 others are scheduled to retire next year. St. Augustine Member of Parliament Khadija Amin is calling on the government to help curb school violence by installing metal detectors. MP Amin is also appealing for providing pupils with mentorship and social welfare counseling. She made the suggestions while speaking at a UNC briefing on Sunday. She said a current explosion in school violence reflected violence in the wider society. Concerns were also raised about school dropouts and the shortage of social workers in the education system.
The municipal police and the community comfort patrols should be engaged, especially within the school zones. Metal detector equipment should be placed in schools, starting with those high-risk institutions, to prevent weapons from entering the schools. The Defense Force and other arms of the protective services must be engaged in mentoring exercises within the schools so that they will have positive role models to look up to.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. The funeral for the late former St. Augustine Girls High School principal, Dr. Anna Mahase, will take place on Tuesday at 10 a.m. at Armalaya Presbyterian Church in Tunapuna. Her cremation will follow at Belgrove's Funeral Home, Tacarigua. There will be a wake service at Sags Churchill Roosevelt Highway today at 3 p.m. in memory of Mahase. Mahase died early on Friday at Medical Associates Hospital St. Joseph. She was 91, making history as the first woman in TNT to be appointed as a principal at the age of 28. Mahase spent 3 decades of her life as a highly respected educator. She was also a recipient of several national awards, including the Medal of Merit Gold in 1976 and the Shakonia Medal in 1990. She was one of 50 people honored with the Excellence in Education and Distinguished Public Service Award on the 50th anniversary of TNT's independence. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period 8 till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, mostly hot, sunny, hazy, and breezy conditions, despite the low chance of a few brief isolated showers. Nighttime will be mostly fair, but slightly hazy. A significant concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere. Persons who are sensitive to these atmospheric conditions are being strongly advised to take the necessary precautions. You can expect a temperature high of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, the police commissioner says the lack of proper parenting is one of the root causes of crime. Police on alert after threats made against officers and a deputy commissioner of prisons. Former AG John Jeremy withdraws from consideration for appeal court justice, and a call has been made for metal detectors in schools. I'm Avril Sintelbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for news in full coming up at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
And of course, your 7 a.m. newscast was brought to you courtesy Genesco Appliances Limited. Experience innovation and inverted technology refrigerators designed to slash your electricity bills at Genesco Appliances Limited. Discover the versatility of a dual-function chest freezer switchable between refrigeration or freezer mode. Available in 5 and 7 cubic feet. Don't miss their unbeatable offer on the 13 kg twin tub washers. And for the aspiring chef, the 30-inch 5-burner gas stove with a built-in rotisserie oven. These specials won't last, so check out Genesco Appliances on Facebook, Instagram, or give them a call at 351-7777. Genesco Appliances are available nationwide.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right, so thank you, Evie, for our major news. Of course, you can join us again come 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right? Quickly, let's see what's happening on highways and under byways. 118 degrees on both islands. Yep, where you think you're going to get traffic, you will get traffic. Going to Chase Village, you'll just get some congestion. And from Monroe Road, heading to the interchanges where you're going to get some traffic there as well. All right? Yeah, all right. Let's see if we have any more votes to tell you about. I've got Dre out in Rio Claro. Morning, Dre. Been to Rio Claro once in my life. That's a long drive. Let's see. I did Alistair Hart Kerwin Duke said nope. Rena Boodoo Jennings says yes. Anthony Tinto, good morning to you. Kyla Cupid. Okay, so there we go. Right, so that's it. Let's get the results of our morning poll.
Richard was writing. I didn't write. Where is
I have the
David Ware says no as well. Is that no or no problem?
It looked like no problem.
It looks so too. Okay.
Some messages come through a little late. People responding to certain comments, and it shows up sometimes in the middle of the conversation.
So let's get the results as we head to our guest should be logging on in a minute or two.
Well, we had 36 people voting on the poll this morning. And of the 36 people voting on the poll this morning, 25 of you said yes. You do think Michaela Pandey's Patriotic Front will win or some seats in the 2025 election, and 11 of you said no. So the people are pretty optimistic in terms of our voters. At least in this is actually our first litmus test at this point, since she made her announcement that she's going to contest 41 seats, or her party is going to contest 41 seats. And the first litmus test is that obviously our listeners and viewers are pretty optimistic. 25 of you are saying yes, she will win some seats, and 11 people say no. Of course, you can continue to vote in this poll throughout the day and throughout programming, and we'll give you the final results tomorrow morning.
What is interesting about Michaela Pandey's announcement too is that she said 41 seats. That includes the 2 seats in Tobago. The UNC has not been contesting Tobago. So that's interesting.
Good morning, Anita Haynes.
Right. Good morning, MP.
Is her volume up?
I don't think she has on her.
No, she's frozen. She's frozen momentarily.
Yeah. I thought it was like a Richard.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Right.
Fine, thank you. And your good self?
I'm doing well. How are you this morning?
Fine, thank you. You're a sight for sore eyes this Monday morning.
Good morning, MP Haynes. I'm sure a certain Mr. Allen would have said the same thing. I think she's having internet issues.
Indeed.
Yes, it's moving a little slow. That's what's happening.
All right.
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
hearing us
getting
in
a
sync
delayed
right now?
feed on my end. Yes, I am.
Yeah,
So
hopefully it'll
hopefully
get right.
the
Today, I
issue
think
has
we sorted
resolved
it out.
itself.
All right. So morning and welcome to the Paul Breakfast Show. All right, gentlemen, let's go.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations on the launch of your slate, yourself and Rushton, Parry, and others. How is your assessment of how the launch of your slate for the UNC's internal elections gone?
I thought it went very well. I was very grateful to the people who turned up because, on Saturday we had some rain. And when we were doing the prep, Rushton's wife, Nell, told me, she said, rain is always a good sign for them in Mayara. So I was like, all right, great. And
how do you feel about, yourself and Mr. Parry, MP Parry, and others
worked out
had been calling for the...
very
We have a delay here.
well. We had...
I think I have to do it without video, guys. You might want to consider doing it without video so that we can hear her clearly.
Anita, are you hearing us? Or maybe she could log on and log off and log back on.
Yeah, she could try it again. Because we haven't had problems with it in the past.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah. All right, we're just having a few technical difficulties. We'll sort it out for you as...
On my end, I'm just seeing some circles buffer.
I'll tell it to log off and log back on.
Yeah, that's an internet issue.
Yeah. All right. And Dr. Rai Ragoobarsingh is also part of their slate. He is also up for deputy political leader. He's the MP for Kumuto Manzanilla. There are 3 deputies, Anita Haynes, Rushton Parry, and Dr. Rai Ragoobarsingh. They are contesting the 3 deputy political leader positions. Larry Lala is contesting, I think, as their chairman.
Anita, are you hearing us better now? No.
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly. Are you hearing me okay?
Right. Yeah, it seems to be better now. Let's hope for the best. All right. Welcome once again.
I'll be right back.
We've never had issues like this. Right. So she's going to log on and log back off. Yeah. Log off and log back on, sorry. And let's hope it resolves the situation. Ghost in the machine. Interesting time for the ghost to kick up.
Yeah, somebody said she's using a 56K modem. What does that mean? I have no knowledge of these things.
People don't use modems like that anymore. As far as I know.
Okay.
Anyway, good morning to you all. It's quite an interesting development. We'll have Makila Pandey on tomorrow, Steve.
Correcto mundo.
Yeah, but
try to get somebody from the Star slate on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm going to try to call David Lee or Dr. Munilal later today to try to get them on.
Yeah.
All right, Anita, good morning again.
Okay. Hopefully it's better now.
I hope so.
Good morning again. Hopefully whatever is trying to sabotage our very good morning interview
I wonder what that could be.
Is that yellow you're wearing? You should take off that yellow.
Oh gosh, not too. It's too early in the morning.
Yes. So I was asking you before, how do you feel about yourself, Russian, and others had been advocating for the UNC internal elections to take place, and it was finally announced. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's your advocacy, or was it always in stream and you just didn't know?
I don't. I think that our advocacy certainly played a very important role because, as you would recall, prior to Rushton making a statement that the internal elections should be called when they are constitutionally due, there was a lot of conversation about a snap general election. And we must focus on a general election that could come from 2025 or before, etc., etc. And even though on the same day that Rushton made the call for the internal elections, that afternoon, the political leader, Mrs. Prasad-Bisasa, would have said that the elections will be held when they're constitutionally due. The messages coming from the current national executive, basically that we have to focus on general elections. And so I think that absolutely there was room for the conversation to be had and had publicly. And now that we have an internal election pending, it is really up to the members of the UNT to come out and have their say, because it is a crucially important election.
MP Haynes, how do you feel about the internal elections being announced and held 2 days before the by-elections in the two local government districts? Was that by strategy or coincidence?
I don't believe it's coincidence at all, simply because the internal elections were announced after the by-elections were announced. So once the internal election called after we had the date for the by-election. So it can't be coincidence. We could rule that one out altogether. Whether or not is strategy is a question that I cannot answer, because I would not have been the person making the strategic decision. But for me, I think that it goes to the heart of what our slate, the United Patriots, is talking about. That fundamentally, part of the things that we have to change is fixed dates for elections. This idea that you can, at any moment, decide when an election is, whichever date, however you feel to. It's really something that I think is part of our politics of the past, that this idea that as an incumbent, one of the benefits you have is that you get to call the election date. And I mean this on a party level and on a national level. I strongly believe the only benefit you should have as an incumbent is to run on your record. What have you done for the people? And not that you have any strategic intervention for calling an election date. I think so that is one of the things that is firmly part of our policy perspectives going forward. Fixed dates for elections internally, and then once our party gets into governance, fixed dates for elections on a national level.
I would have noted that yesterday, because I had a chance to listen a bit to Rushton Parry, that he would have dealt extensively with the performance of the PNM in government at this stage, and felt that the UNC as an opposition not taking enough task on the current government. However, on the other side, a salvo has already been sent your way in terms of Mrs. Prasad-Bisasa's response to Rushton Parry's invitation. Do you expect that it will descend into mudslinging? Okay, I think she might be frozen again. Like everybody freeze this time.
Again, I'm not sure. I hope you're hearing me. I heard the question. If I believe it will descend into mudslinging, I can only speak for myself and the team that I chose to join, which is that we have maintained that the only way to properly go through this internal elections is to focus on what can be done for the United National Congress, that we can win the general election in 2025. And I don't think mudslinging has any space in that goal. And what other people choose to do, I think they will be answerable to the electorate for their decisions. But certainly,
Anita, would you care to turn your camera off? Although we'd love to see you, but I think if you turn your camera off, we may get more bandwidth to have a clearer connection.
Yes, I can.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, either that or we do a phone interview, because it's an important interview.
But we'll try the thing first, and then we'll, if it goes better, we will.
Okay.
Right. Are you hearing me now? Well, yes.
Is it working now?
Yeah. Yes, it seems that you're hearing me one time now.
I can hear you. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so we're in real time with the audio. So let's work at this. Well,
Yes,
we'd love to continue. All right. Why do you think there was such a pushback for the call from yourself and others for the internal election to be held? So much so that I got the impression in some instances it was perceived as a threat to Mrs. Bissessa's leadership. Why do you think that response came?
I can't. I mean, from the very beginning, I think when I appeared on this show shortly after joining in the call for internal election, I said, I mean, it just didn't make any sense. Why the press releases spoke about it, their support for Mrs. Bissessa, whose election was not up this year. It was not on the cards for this year that the persons who are currently on the national executive, and from what I have seen ahead of their launch, more or less the same persons running again, that their line to the public is that they should stay on because they support one person within the party. And I would have said that what is important to me is that the UNC members understand that a national executive of the United National Congress,
Steve, I think we should do the telephone call.
Yeah.
All right, Anita, we're going to call you now and go telephone call. Is that okay? Anita? Yeah, we're going to try the telephone.
Yeah, try the telephone,
Yeah, it'll be much clearer in that direction. We won't have the interruptions and the internet is proving problematic this morning. Maybe there's a bug in the system.
Internet in Trinidad and Tobago is the pits.
But usually we don't have issues with Anita. But today, I guess, I don't know what.
All right, you there?
Right.
Yes, I am.
Thank you. All right, this is much better. Yeah, you were talking about why you were answering the question. If you could start over the answer, please.
Yes, I said that from the beginning. I think when I appeared on Power 102 shortly after joining the call for the internal elections, I stated that it was a very interesting tactic that all of these current members of the executive felt that they needed to come out and say that they support Mrs. Bissessa, because to me that had nothing to do with the calling of the internal elections. But what I'm seeing now is that given that more or less the same executive is being run again, that they were basing their campaign on supporting the status quo. And I mean, as a member of the UNC, as a former public relations officer of the UNC, I've always stated that our duty is to the wider membership of the United National Congress. And so that, again, especially if you are an incumbent, if you are currently serving on the national executive, your key selling point cannot be that you support this one person in the party. You have to say what you've done widely to increase membership, to increase how members feel about our chances at the general election, connectivity among our members, so that people feel like they are included and part of the process. And key in that is having these elections. And so, again, I mean, I think if we are all honest, we'll know that it took us a little struggle to get the elections in the first place. And now that they are upon us, and they are on June 15th, it is very important. And I don't know if you had heard my answer on the mudslinging question properly, because I know we were having our connectivity issues. But that is why it has remained so important to those of us who are on the United Patriots League to be very clear that this ought to be an election that is focused on what can be done to ensure a UNC victory in 2025. And if we focus on ensuring that our members are active and reinvigorated and in a space where they can see that changes will be made, because changes have to be made to come out of opposition. You cannot do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. That we will be, in a better space come 2025.
MP Haynes Allen, I have a question, a couple questions to ask connected to the Patriotic Front, which launched their campaign for 2025 over the weekend also, led by Michaela Pandey. If members of the United Patriots are in fact successful in getting on the executive of the United National Congress, will you be willing to accommodate Miss Michaela Pandey as a political entity, or is there any chance of you going to join with Miss Michaela Pandey in the event that you are not successful?
I'll take the first one because I believe our chances of success are very high. And so I'll start there. For us, those of us who are members of the United Patriots and that we are focused on strengthening the UNC, a major part of strengthening the UNC is this idea of where persons have disagreements or where there was once a relationship that the current status quo is that ties are severed. So we have persons like Mr. Vasant Barrett. We have a number of persons who would have been part and parcel of the United National Congress who, for some reason or another, has been excluded from the party process. And so it's really less of an idea of an accommodation, but more an idea of in strengthening the UNC, what we have to do is look at rebuilding ties and finding a way to welcome more people under the umbrella of the United National Congress. Because political organizations, political parties ought to be about building, increasing, securing more members, and being persuasive so that people can see and get that sense of hope that there is something to come forward and join and be a part of, a movement to be a part of. And so in terms of any specifics with Ms. Pandey or anybody else, I mean, it would be premature to discuss that, but key part of our messaging is an understanding that the UNC cannot be, we cannot just exclude people, but we must come together, find a way to build and strengthen our relationships ahead of 2025, certainly.
Are you comfortable, or is your state comfortable with the mechanisms in place for a free and fair internal elections? There have been some concerns raised about that in the past.
Yeah, we have been very vigilant. We have, I think, for the past week, I know I've been answering a lot of calls from the press, but as I told members of the press that last week we were very focused on ensuring the back end. So last week we had the nomination process. We also had the viewing of the preliminary list so that we can take a look at, members who have been registered if they made it onto the preliminary list. So far, these things has been smooth. Maybe not the most efficient or effective process, but certainly smooth. And we are taking this one day at a time. If something comes up, I think everybody on the team has been known to be very vocal, so we will not leave it unattended. I think there is a key concern as well with we're now awaiting our polling venues, because as it stands right now, we can't tell people where they are going to vote because we have not gotten the list of polling venues from the Election Management Committee as yet. And so, like I said, we're taking things one day at a time. We are remaining vigilant. And if, hopefully there are no issues, but if any issues crop up, we'll certainly address it in a timely and very direct manner.
Anita, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe you can clarify for me and for our listeners. Mm-hmm. Has there ever been a slate that is not favored by the leader of the UNC winning? Because I don't think that has ever happened. And so what gives, and if it has never happened, what is giving you and the United Patriots the optimism that you can go against that trend?
It happened in 2010, Richard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yes. So
at least under the current leader. Current leader.
Okay. All right. So the current leader, right? What prior to 2010, there had been a number of times where the executive ran, the national executive elections were held without the political leader election being held. Because the way our constitution is structured is that the national executive works with the political leader, but is not answerable to the political leader. You're answerable to the members of the UNC. And that is the way it's supposed to work. Since 2010,
I actually heard that wavering of the call.
Did she lose? Well, something up. If it is the phone and somebody who the SSA kicking out.
Well, boy, I don't know. Come on.
You're very quick to jump to these theories, Paul.
Well, who is trying to prevent Anita Haynes?
We've never had a problem talking to Anita Haynes before.
Yes, we've never.
All of a sudden, can't get internet, can't get telephone call. Really? Nah, man. There's no such thing as a coincidence in the universe.
True. Really? I subscribe to that, Paul.
Nothing in the universe is coincidental.
And he of all know that what's his name in the play? Mike? Is Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Mike of all people know that. Mike get a come upon in that play there. Mike get a shock that a lot of men can't handle,
Some universal thing happened by Saturn and Jupiter that send down and zap the telephone call.
Mike said, let me wipe the slate clean.
Something up. Nah, they're still different today. Still different today. Nah.
Mike fall back all over in love again.
And you tell you back?
No, I can't even get it. All lines are busy.
Some subterfuges up with Anita.
No. Well, you call the acting attorney general. He's the minister of public utilities. Call the acting attorney general. Something wrong.
And he in charge of TSCT too, not so?
But he
has to fix this. Marvin Gonzalez, fix this.
He's the line minister for TSCT. He's not in charge of TSCT.
Well, you know what I mean.
Well, while we're waiting for Anita to come back on, I just want to say thank you for all of the people who came to the Central Bank Auditorium over the weekend to see Love is a Walk. And of course, our next stop on our Love is a Walk tour, so to speak, is Tobago, where the play is actually set.
Oh, Lord, imagine.
So we're actually going to Tobago on June 8th.
All right, here she is.
8 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex.
Hi, Anita. Welcome back for the third time.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, if this interview doesn't show it shows our resilience, if nothing else.
Can I ask what constituency you're presently located? If it doesn't put you at risk.
Sabagate. I would guess for a little.
Just making sure everything is all right. It seems the forces are trying this morning, but we shall not let them prevail.
Yeah. If you can continue with where you stopped.
Yeah, you're talking about the systems in place here. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, the word Paul used just now, they're prevailing.
I know that would have instigated a response from you.
Oh yes.
No, I was discussing we were discussing whether or not what gives us the confidence, given that we are a national executive that does not have the support of the political leader. Now, I will also say that in terms of proper procedure, while Mrs. Prasad Bitasa certainly has a right and a space to, as a member of the United National Congress, have to vote any which way she sees fit, as the political leader, not on the ballot, I think it must be understood that whoever wins, that the office of the political leader and the offices of the national executive must work together to ensure victory in 2025. And so that I think that it would be much more fitting and very much more responsible if the office of the political leader plays no part in this election, because if there was a desire to play a part in the election, there is a mechanism by which the political leader could have put herself on the ballot. But that decision was not made, and therefore it is the responsible thing to do for the UNC to not play a role in the national executive elections more than being a member and casting your vote. But beyond that, you really ought to let the elections play out unencumbered and allow members to have their say.
MP Haynes, if I remember carefully, in 2010, Dr. Munilal was on Mr. Pandey's slate, and he still got elected.
Correct. I mean, interestingly enough, having seen the slate, the only person who has run against Mr. Bisasa twice at this point is Dr. Munilal, 2010 and 2015. And so he's on the record as having officially challenged to leadership. And so I find that to be a very interesting space to find himself in right now. Because again, this is an election that is for the national executive. The national executive forms 3 deputy political leaders, the chairman of the party organizer. And despite what has happened with the incumbents, these are very important roles. And once they are active and playing their part, again, understanding that their role, their duty is to the members of the UNC. So, for example, you have 3 deputy political leaders. Once the executive is functioning properly, one ought to take responsibility for field operations, mobilization, etc. One ought to take responsibility for our parliamentary readiness, our local government readiness, etc. In terms of advocacy on that level or representative advocacy. And one ought to take responsibility for party communications, much like you would have vice presidents in companies, etc., dealing with certain day-to-day aspects and reporting to the executive, yes, but also reporting to the membership by ways of our National Assembly, our Congress, etc., so that you are taking the time to keep the members informed of what's going on with the party. You ought to have a party organizer that deals with the membership committee that can report to our members how many new UNC members there are, whether or not our list is constantly updated, so that when an election is called, that you are not now trying to figure out where your UNC members are, how to get them involved in the election process, etc. That these ought to be streamlined processes once the executive is functioning and understanding what their role is. And I think that has been lost on this current executive. And I mean, they have shown the public that themselves by showing that when the call was made for an internal election, those persons who sat there, who faced an election to hold that position, vocally spoke out against an election. I thought that, I mean, in and of itself, showed where the mindset was.
But that, in a sense, kind of ties in to what I would have asked Anita, and I don't know if you could be a little bit more clear in terms of the directness of what I asked you. Now, I understand the theoretical position of how things should work, but you know, in politics in Trinidad and Tobago, how things should work and how they actually work don't necessarily align. And a lot of the times, leaders of political parties do favor a particular slate and indicate so in different ways. Sometimes subtle ways, sometimes not so subtle. And obviously, from the optics that currently play out, this slate, the United Patriots, is not necessarily favored by the current leader. So why are you so optimistic in terms of the party, and obviously the party membership has generally aligned with the leader in terms of how the party has functioned thus far, or whatever the systems and how they practically work thus far. So why are you so optimistic? What has changed so substantially that you believe that United Patriots, even if not sanctioned by the leader, can win?
Because we have a one-man, one-vote system in the United National Congress, so that each vote is weighted equally. And I have been in touch with UNC members, persons who can vote in this election. And I can tell you that right now, what is prime on the mind of the UNC member is that we really do not wish to spend another 5 years in opposition. And if that means that they have to break from the status quo because the status quo has held us in opposition for going on 10 years, that they are ready to do so now. And so that is what gives us the confidence, because we understand, the UNC members understand that in order to have a different result in 2025, something must be done differently in 2024.
Well, I'm
So
glad
you're
you said
hoping-
that, because
you're
I wanted to focus on what you said in your speech at the launch of your slate, where and your tagline is a stronger UNC and opposition is a stronger TNT, which I agree with in our present construct. Because the executive has so much power, we need a strong opposition, no matter who is in power, to keep the executive to account. That way the country benefits. But when you say a stronger opposition means a stronger TNT, you are implying that the opposition in its present construct is not strong. Evidenced by, of course, you've lost two national elections. Am I wrong there?
No, I want to clarify. When we say a stronger UNC for a stronger TNT, we are not envisioning being an opposition party for very much longer, right? And I mean, I understand why you're saying it's a stronger opposition, because we have been in opposition for so long. But we are hoping to change that once. But a stronger UNC for a stronger TNT means that those of us who are in the political landscape, whether you be part of the UNC, part of the PNM, part of the Patriotic Front, part of the NTA, and any political organization, what you ought to bring to the table is the best version of yourself, so that citizens have something that they can vote for, and we can get out of the cycle of voting against somebody. I don't want this one, so I'm voting for this one. I don't want this one, so I'm voting for this one. That is a cycle that has gotten us nowhere very quickly as a country. But that I'm a member of the UNC. So the thing that I can commit to the public is that I will do my work to make a stronger UNC, so that when the people of Trinidad and Tobago, all the people of Trinidad and Tobago are taking a look on, that you get a sense that this is a political party that is driven by the future, that understands the issues that will face Trinidad and Tobago, the issues of climate change, the issues of how our policies interact with artificial intelligence, the issues of crime, national security, education, etc. The things that we face, the political parties ought to position themselves properly to address these things. And so when we say a stronger UNC for a stronger Trinidad and Tobago, in the first instance, yes, it's a question of the national executive election and getting our party business in order, but it is part of a wider movement to say that people in Trinidad and Tobago deserve something to vote for.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Put a pause, but when you say a stronger UNC means a stronger TNT, strong opposition parties present themselves as the alternative to who is in power now. And the UNC has not been able to do that for 2 full political cycles. So because when an electorate sees a strong opposition, they usually vote them into power, or the strongest version of the opposition, they vote them into power as the alternative to what's in power. It means that there is something that the incumbent, the opposition, is not doing. What if you would say a stronger UNC means a stronger TNT is wrong with the UNC now that needs to be addressed or corrected?
Yeah, correct. Well, again, I think that our policy direction needs to be refined. Our party communications absolutely needs to be refined, and the way we engage with the public. And so that the current way we engage with the public, it's, our political platforms, the Monday night reports, etc., that we have to find a way that there is certainly a more interactive approach with the public, and that people across the country feel much more included in the decision-making process. And all of these things are outlined in the things that we would do differently. And so, as I said at the launch on Saturday, that our movement is one that is interested and grounded in improvement, in rebuilding. And so it is not to just discard what has happened, but to find ways to improve. And so, I said it on Saturday, no one can say that this is the best version of the UNC, because if we were operating as the best version of the UNC, it would be clear that we would be the next government, and it is not clear right now. And I think that's part of the reason that this change has to happen, and it has to happen quickly.
MP Haynes, Allen, let me ask this question. It's a very hard question to answer, but I want an answer. Well, I would like to have an answer. We have on the United National Congress slate, the slate that the political leader is endorsing, a political leader who has had a colored past as prime minister.
You can't call them the United National Congress slate.
Okay,
slate that will be the UNC slate.
All right. Okay.
They call themselves the star team, and you could call them.
Right. So thanks for the correction. So on the star team, we have led by their political leader who has had a checkered past as prime minister. We have 3 deputy political leaders, Dr. Rudal Monilal, Dr. David Lee, and Jerlene John, who are contesting those positions, who have all had questions to answer with the state machinery in terms of their involvement in politics and ministerial positions, right? Those are their political leaders. And they are also included in a couple other people who have been interdicted with the state and in terms of their past. On the other side now, we have Rushton Parry, Anita Haynes Allen, Dr. Rai Ragoobarsingh, and others. Is there any reason why? Is there any information that will come out on these people? We know about this star team. We know about them. Is there any information that will prevent the electorate of the UNC or the wider electorate of Trinidad and Tobago from trusting these people who are offering themselves now?
Well, Rushton Parry has been a member of parliament since 2015. I joined the Senate in 2017. Rai Ragoobarsingh joined the House of Representatives in 2020, but has been in and around UNC politics, having even served as a deputy political leader under Mrs. Prasad Bisesa in 2015. And so that we are all persons who are not new to public life. And certainly, I think whatever people had to say, they would have found a way to say it already. We were not persons who are, like I said, new to public life. And so, I can speak for myself. I have built a public profile that I think is grounded on everything that I stand for. And I'm sure people would have looked, but I don't think they found anything because there's nothing to be found. And so, I really feel very confident that this team can withstand a test of integrity and withstand the test of building the trust between persons in politics and the wider national public.
You see why people really are like you?
You must have thought long and hard before making decisions to be outspoken and also to be a part of a slate that has not gotten the blessing of the political leader. What happens if, because by my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the executive is who screens candidates for the upcoming election. Would that be correct?
Correct, yes.
What happens if your team or parts of your team are not successful?
I think for me, a big part of making this decision and doing things the way that I've done things is because I have been very vocal about pushing a new brand of politics, a new approach to the way politics is done in Trinidad and Tobago. And I have no problem taking that brand of politics to the electorate, the UNC electorate in the first instance, and saying, is this something that you want? Is this something that you will get on board with? And they can say yes and they can say no. And if they say yes, well, we'll continue to do the work. And if they say no, this is not what we want at this time, I will accept that and I will re-engineer my space in public life so that I can find better ways to be useful. But once you exist in the political landscape, you have to be constantly aware that if you are promoting something and this is what you get the buy-in for it, you continue to do work. But if you don't get the buy-in for it, then you have to, I guess,
find another space where you can be productive.
I think we lost her again.
Are you answering on behalf of the MP?
I was just kind of
Following a
finishing
trend of thought.
the thought.
This is unbelievable.
Finishing the thought for
The Tabakit.
I got where she was going.
Why was the thing they had running around Tabakit? What the young boy was talking about? And they had to put lavender and salt and all kind of thing and all kind of thing around the place. Remember, it wasn't in Tabakit. They had a little thing running around the place.
We forgot to take calls in the first
Are you
hour.
talking about the buck?
It was the buck.
We have to
Sorry,
make up for
Richard.
tomorrow.
It was a buck.
We have to do what, Paul?
We forgot to take calls in the first hour.
So let's take some calls.
Yeah.
now.
Well, Anita is back online. This is unbelievable.
I am back, and I think no. I think the line it was telling me to be much more succinct with my answer. But to be clear, if the people say yes, this is the type of politics we want going forward. This is what we want for 2025. I will happily continue to do the work. Beyond that, I will accept what the members say on June 15, 2015, and if it is that they have chosen to keep the status quo, I am very prepared to accept that going forward, there may not be a space for me simply because I am preaching a different message.
How does all this affect?
Will you be willing to take some calls, Anita?
Yeah, yes, that's not a problem.
Okay, so we can open the lines while Paul asks his questions.
How has this affected the operations inside the House of Representatives? Because I'm sure there's some tension.
Well, we are about to face the mid-year review, so certainly we would have to come together, caucus properly, and because this is dealing with the public account, so I think that will be the first and most important test of our political maturity. Since then, we would have had private members, the persons would have been there. So in terms of the day-to-day operations, while there may be tensions, I don't think it has affected us, but we are going to face our truest test when it comes to the mid-year review and getting ready for it, because that takes place on June 3rd, the first standing finance committee, and June 7th for the debate.
All right, so we're opening up our lines, 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866.
All right, got our call here already.
1099. Good morning,
Good
caller.
morning.
Good morning to the panel and your esteemed guest, Mrs. Anita Haynes. We know that the political leader of the UNC has the final say when it comes to screening for a general election. If Anita Haynes' slate is not successful, and most likely we don't know how that will go, but if they are not screened and selected for the general election, what's next for Mrs. Haynes?
Thank you.
I think she just answered that.
Yeah, she said that she would re-engineer the public life, the
Yes,
contribution to public life.
I think there are lots of spaces to serve your country, and I have had the privilege of serving in Parliament, but that is not the only term of service for country. And I'm very comfortable with that. But I will say, because to me, what is most important is standing for what you believe in. And so that I believe that politics can get better. And this is my way of trying within my own political organization to improve. And it is now up to members to say, yes, we want this improvement, or we prefer to stay the same.
Good morning.
If nobody told you before, I'm going to tell you this morning, the doors of the People's National Movement are wide open.
Good morning, caller.
You're part of the executive there, or what?
I am listening.
Well, you know, the thing I would say that it is equally important for persons who consider themselves to be card-carrying members of the PNM to make a similar stance and say, listen, we can improve our political organization too. This idea that you are above improvement is part of the reason I find it very difficult to look at the doors.
But I'm not one of them, Ms. Haynes Allen. I speak openly all the time.
Very good, very good. And the more people who exist within political parties, understand that you can exist within political parties, but stand for your country I think we'll get what we are looking for in terms of the Trinidad and Tobago. We hope to see if we get more people doing that.
For sure. Apologies to the caller just now. You missed
Yeah.
because James Allen was answering while you were on. Sorry.
Yeah, while he was on. We take a couple of calls as we head towards 8 a.m. to talk to 8 a.m.
So we have
Is it 8 a.m. already?
We have to end it here. Anita, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate your time and your contribution.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. I am sorry we had so many difficulties, but I'm sure we will have an opportunity to speak again before June 15th. And so any questions?
Listen to Miss Michaela Pandey tomorrow. Yeah? We are interviewing her tomorrow. Listen to that interview.
MP is there still?
Something up this morning.
Something.
You have a great day. Be safe out there.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. Of course, have a fantastic Monday. And of course, love is a walk. And our next stop is Tobago at the Shore Park Cultural Complex on June 8th. It's one show only, Tobago, Saturday, June 8th at 8:30 p.m. Tickets are already on sale at the Shore Park Complex and at Beverly's Oasis in Lowlands. So you can get tickets at those two places. I think there are other outlets. I just don't know them offhand. My apologies. But certainly Beverly's Oasis has tickets, and Shore Park Complex already has tickets, and I know tickets are already selling. So you can get your tickets from there. One show only, Tobago, Saturday, June 8th. We're so looking forward to it.
You got to put tickets by Jade Monkey. Anyway, folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We'll chat bright and early come tomorrow morning.